Welcome to OOO, an out of ordinary podcast where we dig deep into case studies and the nitty gritty of Web3 marketing. You'll find here all the amazing people that are building Web3, so stick to us as we address their marketing secrets and learn how to build amazing products and brands.
Hello everyone, I'm Alex, your fellow Web3 marketer and the host of Out of Ordinary podcast. This is episode 67. I've been working on a bunch of stuff to make the space a little better for everyone. 2 very successful Web3 marketing hackathons, a community for marketers in Web3, and now looking to live stream a lot more often. The reason for that is that I know resources are scarce and I think together we can push the pedal. So if you also want to get involved, such as sponsor the hackathon, hire, grow the community, or come to the pod, DM me. Now, without further ado, let me introduce you to my guest. Yean is a CMO at human.tech. Yean has 8+ years of experience working on Web3 infrastructure, leading GTM teams at Polkastarter, Venly and Delta. Hi Yean, how are you?
Hey GM, I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much for being with me today. I'm so excited to be recording this episode with me today because I know you have some exciting things that you're working on, and I just can't wait to dig more into it and to talk more about what you have been building ever since I have last seen you. And to kind of kick it off, would you like to tell our audience a bit about yourself and how you got into Web3?
Yeah, sure. Love to. And thanks for having me. My name is Yean. I'm based in Belgium. I entered the Web3 space, I think it was in 2015, 16. By then I was just trading a bit. I was on Coinbase, so I maybe not call it trading, but investing or buying some Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I really liked it. And I was a marketeer at the tech company. And I had some Belgian friends who created an app, a portfolio tracking application, was Delta. And they were looking for a marketeer. And on a Discord, they saw that some guy also in Belgium was a marketeer in the space. And that's when they reached out and said, hey, do you want to work in Web3? And in 2017, I started working for them and I entered the space doing marketing in Web3. And I did a couple companies. And now today, I'm CMO at Holonym. So I've been here a couple of years and I've seen some shit. So happy to be on this podcast to talk a bit about it.
I was actually wanted to ask you because 2017 till now it's been a while, so maybe you're one of those people with 8 years of experience of marketing experience in Web3. I didn't know I have one in my on my podcast now, but how do you feel like the space has changed ever since?
It's a good question. I think sometimes it doesn't even matter how many years of experience you have. You need to have almost the experiences in the narratives or in the waves, or because every wave or cycle of the market is different. Even today, I feel not up to date about how to market around memes and meme coins and all of that. Of course, I know about it, but when I see some creative stuff out there on Twitter, I'm like, wow, this is almost a new generation of marketeers that understand everything about memes. But yeah, the market evolved. I think in the beginning was mostly very technical people, the builders were developers and they didn't make any big plans or strategies on how to communicate in a very simple way. So that was the first wave that marketeers helped them in communicating what they were building. And then the second phase was more, okay, it's a bear market, so we need to survive in a sense. We need to shape up for the next bull market, to raise funds, to generate revenue. So that was an interesting time because then it was helping companies generate revenue, having a business other than a token. And now in this, I would say new bull market, it's exciting again because you have the newcomers, but you also have established tech players just one example, Yean Analytics, who have been around. You have the exchanges who have been around quite some time. So you know what's possible and things have matured, but you still have a lot of new things to discover, new technologies, new advancements, still the same problems with not being able to market it to a regular audience. So there are a lot of challenges and a lot of come and go, and a lot of things that are being shut down, and then other things that really become market leaders in a couple months. So it's exciting to see. And a good example is the Poly market. They became market leaders in a couple of weeks, onboarding like the most people in this bull market, I would say, maybe apart from now the Trump coin and the Moonshot app, maybe onboarded more people, but it goes super, super fast.
I think it shows the power of personal branding, right? Especially when it comes to Trump and stuff.
Yeah, he's maybe one of the biggest personal brands. I won't disclose if I'm pro or against, but he definitely has some unfair advantages, I would say.
Yeah. You mentioned that you're now working with Holonym, and I wanted to ask you if you can maybe introduce to the audience, like, who's Holonym, like, what do you guys do, and what is your roles within the Web3 ecosystem?
Yeah, sure. So Holonym, or the Holonym Foundation, is a project where we're focused on building technology and infrastructure for everything privacy and security related. So our big mission is to make human digital rights real. And with human digital rights, we mean like the being private online, being able to vote, being able to prove yourself as a human, being able to put the humans before AIs, or like basically have a better digital identity, or prove your digital identity, but have like more power to your digital identity thanks to technology, without falling into the pitfalls from Sybils and bots and all that. And then our role is, we today have 2.5 million users through our technologies. We partner very much in the, I would say, Ethereum ecosystem today, in the EVM ecosystem. And then we have a network, the Human Network, which was previously Mishti Network, and the Human Network is an AVS on EigenLayer and Symbiotic. So we're mostly nestled in those ecosystems.
What do you think makes you guys unique compared to the other proof of personhood infrastructure on the market?
So if I focus on maybe the big ones, you have everybody knows WorldCoin or where Sam Altman is also affiliated in. WorldCoin, they have a ton of users, and they can also prove their personhood or prove their humanity, and they do that by the iris scanning. They're now rolling out other stuff in the future, but their core concept is that big iris scanner, that bull that you see on Twitter, or if you saw it in real life in big cities, where they just lure people in and give them, I think it's $50 to prove their identity by scanning their iris through the bull. Then you have a humanity protocol as well, who could be a competitor. They recently raised quite some money again. They use a palm, so the scanning of a palm. And then we, with Holonym or human.tech, I'd say we're first of all focused very much on privacy. So making sure that everything is done through ZK credentials, that we can make sure that the data is stored in a super private way and in a secure way. And then we also focus very much on making it accessible for everyone, and also accessible to share what you want to share in terms of personal data, to prove that you are a human. So for example, you could link your social accounts if you want to. You can link KYC that you've done on an exchange if you want to. You can scan your ID documentation if you want to, but you can also show or prove it with your on-chain data. Like for example, attending events or having an ENS domain and aggregating all those credentials to prove that your wallet is attached to a human, or that you're human in specific use cases.
When it comes to I feel like we spoke about like Trump, and we spoke about meme coins, and the fact that like the space has changed quite a lot lately. I mean, not lately, in the last couple of years, but even from like month to month, I feel like there's a new narrative coming up. And you guys definitely operate in a very crowded space. What do you think are the biggest challenges in marketing the tech?
Yeah, it's a good question. Like, first of all, it is a crowded space, maybe with those big projects that are investing in it, but it's also a big blue market in terms of use cases that we're going to see, especially with AI agents, Sybils, airdrops, grants. All of those are farmed by bots. So they will be more and more important to have proof of personality and Sybil defenses. So that's where we really believe that we can have an added value. And then also in a way of how we implement it is also something that we believe are the ethos of cryptography, making things private and secure. And then the challenges to market this is you need to create a narrative, but the narrative is something that we specifically use in crypto, saying a narrative, but in general marketing would still be like your communication campaign. Who are you? Why does it matter? Why should people follow you? Why should people care? Why should people have an account, etc.? What's your value proposition? So all that needs to be in a narrative and needs to be something that works in that moment to generate interest, because like even VCs are today mostly interested in everything which is in the AI narrative. So you need to find a narrative that is good in that moment, but it also lasts longer than just a couple months, and everybody forgets you. So you need to build a community within, again, super crowded ecosystem of people that are just hopping from narrative to narrative to make some money. So you need to have to bring something extra, I would say, to bring like almost like a culture within the space where people really feel connected with. And that's a huge challenge, in my opinion, to grasp that attention and to build a narrative that, like, okay, this is not hopping on a hot narrative, but it's creating your own thing where you believe in, and then communicating this in an effective way to your stakeholders.
But like, do you think there are also this kind of people in the space? I mean, I do believe that, but like, because maybe I live in a bubble, so like a lot of people that I'm surrounded by believe in this, and also because maybe I was onboarded to Web3 in a very different way, not through trading or not through meme coins or like the hype. Let's say I was like onboarded in Web3 in a very proper educational, with like through an educational manner, let's say through Shify. At least like that was like consolidated like my Web3 education. And I feel like the kind of values that I'm coming to in the space are a bit different than a lot of other people's.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think it's very relevant for people today in the space, but how we see things as we roll out more in phases. I think phase one is explaining who we are, our technologies, mostly to researchers, builders, academics, people that really understand that piece of technology and are interested in how to prove personhood with ZK credentials or making sure that your data is secure. So that's the angle, because we're innovative on that side, and then rolling out to builders where we explain like more like, okay, do you know that if you're going to do a grants program or an airdrop, that most of the claimers are going to be Sybils or bots, or even like people setting up wallets with AI, and so that those are the big challenges that we solve for. And then later on to end users as well, because end users also have cases. So for example, being able to vote, being able to prove that you're a resident of a specific country, being able to do KYC in a ZK way, being able to prove that your money or your assets are clean assets, to bridge to networks like Aztec, for example, to be able to transact in a private way. So that's the third phase almost, and then the fourth phase is like more rolling out outside of Web3 as well, because that data issue is not only something that we have in Web3. It's also something that we have in Web2 with all those data breaches, all this private information that becomes available on the internet because some platforms get hacked. So that's definitely something that we see going beyond Web3. And we also already invest in that last phase because it's a difficult one or a long one to build up. And to give a very concrete example, we work with a Web3 specific PR agency for everything Web3 media related. And then in-house, we have someone with a crypto, but also with a journalist and media background who's responsible to pitching and crafting the story towards traditional top tier media. So we already communicate about that and already do that.
Do you think people actually care about security and stuff like this in Web3, or do you think it's just something they say they care about?
It's mostly something they say they care about, and we see that with projects as well. We even see projects who say, "Yeah, doesn't matter if I airdrop to Sybils or if I have bot followers and all that." So okay, that's fine. That's fine for them. It's not a strategy that we see successful. But a lot do care, and a lot do say that they care and care. And that's like with projects focused on security that we see a lot of like MPC technology for wallets who care about decentralization and security. We see Aztec caring about privacy and security. We even have like some chats on Signal and not on Telegram anymore. So those are really the projects that eat their own dog food. So yeah, it happens. And then the end user, that's a good question as well, because the end user, we always say, of course, that we care. Like even for me, I use a password manager and my wife doesn't. And I'm always like, you should use a password manager, and for every platform is have another password. And it's like almost that they don't see the risks or the threats. And I believe that in the coming months and years, everyone will somehow and somewhere be hacked if you're not careful about your online security. So people will have to care about this. People will see media pieces or journalist pieces written by AIs where they don't know if it's an AI or not an AI, or if they need to trust it. That's also part of like security or your digital life. So yeah, it will happen, almost be enforced by what's happening in the next months and years.
I feel like there's so many other questions that I could ask you here, or like that I would like to ask you here. Especially that like threads was an issue like maybe a year ago, and like everybody was talking about, at least like in the Web3 space, about the kind of data that they're keeping from you. Right now, I see like there's like a lot of hype about like DeepSeek. I was at the gym last week, and then there was like some guys talking near me about like DeepSeek, because like how they're going to revolutionize AI and like how crypto's falling because of it. Da, da, da. But then like I got home, and then I saw like all the data breaches, like, and all this stuff that they're taking from you, like, or they're remembering about you. I'm like, I don't know if I want to use a tool. I mean, I think the internet already knows more about me than I know about myself. So
it's crazy.
It's insane.
Like people even that use an AI girlfriend or boyfriend, that's like the most scary thing to do, to really like open up to an AI. But yeah, some people don't think about it yet because they don't see how it could be against them. Yeah, but it will happen.
Let's see. Can you maybe like going back to like the marketing strategies and like stuff that you guys have worked on? Can you maybe break down the strategy you've used to market in both B2B and like the B2C space?
Yeah, sure. So it's that's always super challenging, like building for B2B and marketing to B2C. So how we do it is we focus first on B2B. So we make sure like developer documentation, websites brings in B2B. And we often say by bringing projects using your technology, you bring on the end users. But the end users will have or be connected with your brand somehow. So you need to build that brand to our end users as well. And you need to bring support to those end users. So in the end, you need to market to both. So we focus first on B2B, and then we make sure that for B2C, we build a strong brand, and a strong brand with a strong narrative, with technology or like support services that are exceptionally good, so that you can create a connection of trust with that end user. So that's where we focus on a lot. So we won't, let's say, we won't sponsor the biggest end user or B2C events. But every end user is coming in contact with our brand through the project that has integrated our technology will have a super good match with our narrative and brand and our support, our touch points, let's say.
And how do you think you can effectively tell a story for like two narratives, like, or for two audiences, like maybe developers and consumers?
Yeah, it's a different story, but it's also like we have different technologies. So, for example, the human network, which is the AVS creating human keys, we call them. Those human keys are like randomly generated keys to keep data secure, for example, or to generate logins or private keys even. And then we have a passport solution, a human passport. So that's a Gitcoin passport that we acquired that now became a human passport. And that's more something that we can explain more to end users. So the passport thing would be something where we have multiple narratives. We have one for the builders with the use cases, and we have one for the end users. What can you do with your passport specifically? But then, for example, the Mishti network, the human network now, previously Mishti network, that is something that we only going to focus on the more technical people, and that we won't even try to explain it in super simple terms, because the most simple that I can explain human network is human networks is an AVS that derives human keys from human attributes, and those human keys can be used in for logging in or securing data. So even that is super complicated for an end user, super abstract, I would say.
I was actually hosting a space last week on different ways to engage developers at events, or like what do developers do. And I was actually thinking, like, when I was like hosting that space, I was thinking like, obviously, I think these people are like, they're few, everybody wants to work with them and so on, but like, why you are not making space about how to engage marketers, how to engage VDs at like events, which I think was funny. And the reason why I brought this up is that I think there are, or like maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, because it seems like you guys are focusing a lot on like on a narrative or like in a storytelling like that would engage and like a lot of these types of audiences, and like you build a strong brand. And except for a lot of or like comparing to a lot of companies that focus a lot on the tech, I think in your case, it could be that the narrative could be the one that would maybe keep or like build this community, or like build this all the supporters from different like B2B, B2C developers and so on around what you're building at Holonym.
Yeah, I agree. I think that tech is the core. Your tech needs to be good, and you need to be able to understand, or like at least the engineers and the cryptographers need to know that the tech is good. And when you have that confidence, like for example, we have two founders, Shadi and Nanak, and Nanak is very much the spokesperson when it comes to security. So he can explain what good security is. He also has a background of being able to find breaches in big wallets as a service companies, very big ones, to be able to explain, hey, this is not good because it's not secure. So that will be spokesperson more for those technical stuff. And then Shadi is a visionary more on the narrative, like, okay, what does it mean for our future, our digital future, what we are building. And then a good thing that you mentioned as well is on building those ambassadors or that community. We even do that in a different way than the classic Web3 way. I would say like the last year, 2 years was very much on KOLs, and KOLs is a nice word. Like, I mean, key opinion leader. But in our space, we often see Twitter shitposters and influencers as KOLs, and they see themselves as well as KOLs. They're not so much key opinion leaders, but they have an audience of people that want to make money and trading, and it's all good because that's part of crypto. But we won't work with those type of KOLs. Like for us, key opinion leaders who are key opinion leaders, what best example is Vitalik. He's a key opinion leader because when he says something, people are listening or reading because they care about his opinion and will act on his opinion. And then other key opinion leaders for us are academics, researchers, builders, even artists who see or who could see the connection with technology and humanity in a different view. Even students who have somewhat a following as well. So those are really our key opinion leaders that we're going to engage with, that we're going to tell the narrative with, and that we going to see them as our partners instead of partnering up with the classic Twitter influencers, I'd say.
I think you brought up something very interesting, and I think my next question connects very well with it. And that is about the role of education, and like what role does it play? What role does education play in your marketing efforts, especially when explaining complex technology in a non-technical matter? Because I think, and I think like we believe the same thing. I think like the narrative in general, and I think like what should happen moving forward is explaining very complicated things in a non-complicated way, making things a lot easier for everybody to be able to enjoy this technology and all this space that everybody believes so much in.
Yeah, and I think to explain that, what we do is we show the problem that there is today, a problem that an end user, which doesn't have to be technical, could understand. Like for example, like you have digital voting, but now with all the AIs, how do you make sure that only the humans are voting? Or how do you make sure that only humans from your country or your jurisdiction are voting? And how do you make sure that their data is secure, for example? Because they know about data breaches, they know about bots, they know about all that. And then another example would be like, imagine you're giving money to a charity, and that money at the end of the funnel, only like 30 or 40% remains. What if you could have a system that you give money and you put that on a public database that everyone can see, like, okay, where is the money going? What's happening with the money? Who is receiving the money? And can the receiver also have the money or not? Is it going to be like on his bank account? Because, for example, refugees, they don't have bank accounts, but they could have crypto wallets. So giving them a digital funds to transact. And this is like being able to explain what we do through those situations from real life is making it for us very easy to pitch to, for example, traditional media and explaining what we do.
What do you think are some of your favorite examples of something you consider a successful marketing campaign?
It's a good question. So unsuccessful, you mean a successful marketing campaign that we did or in the space in general?
It'll prefer to be something you guys have done, but like if you have other examples, I would love to hear from that as well.
Yeah. Something that we have done, I think a successful campaign was or we're still in the beginning of it, but already would call it a success because of the traction it gets, is a manifestation campaign. So a manifestation campaign is our campaign explaining like what we do, who we are, but not in the way that we're creating a camp, let's say. We're more uniting people from different beliefs, but all in bringing them on the same front again, and like, okay, this is how we envision the future of humanity with technology. And why is it successful? Because we're able to have builders and researchers, academics, again, artists joining us, and not for like their commercial standpoint. So they don't join to partner up with us for brand building or for their marketing, but they do it because they want to show that they believe in something. And even for us, it's not something that is going to result in the end in users for us, but it's more like a narrative, creating a true Web3 narrative in the true Web3 way. So collaborating with others without having to funnel everything to one tool or to onboarding users. So yeah, I like that campaign a lot because it's interesting users with interesting visuals on the one hand, and then hooking them with something that they can see themselves in and can believe in as well. And the other thing is when they see, for example, the manifesto, and if they don't see themselves aligned with that vision, then they're also not going to sign or contribute to the manifesto. So that's a good thing as well. And we won't have bots signing the manifesto hoping to get an airdrop because they know where we stand for. And we're only going to focus on actual real humans.
And talking about like real humans, how do you nurture or grow a community or your community to ensure long-term engagement?
Yeah, so that's also in Web3 a big misconception, I would say, but it's that projects need to have 500,000 followers on Twitter and then Telegram groups with at least 100K people that are posting GM in there every day. That is something that I know that exchanges, if you list your token exchanges, would look at the potential market and how much traction you have socially. But everyone knows, even the exchanges know that most of those followers don't know your project, don't interact with you, because if you see, like in terms of token holders, good projects will have more than 10,000 different token holders, but that doesn't stand with like having 1 million followers on your Twitter. So for us, building that community is way more on the quality of that community. And we know we're going to launch a token as well because we need a token for the network. But we won't play the same game in building a vanity community. We will play the game in creating a community of people who are interested to build and collaborate. But we also don't need to have a ton of those followers that like our messages. We need the right people to do that. So hopefully we will be able to bring that in the market. I know it's going to be a tough one because everyone will say you need at least 500,000 to be a credible project. But we don't believe that. Or hopefully we get 500,000 by doing good and having the right ones.
But what drives you guys? Like, what drives you to keep building in this direction?
I think the team is a Web3 native team. Most of us have been in space quite some time, and most of us are also like saying today, like, okay, this is really, where are we going? Like, you have incredible talent, you have incredible projects, you have incredible technical stuff, but on the other hand, it's almost like the shit talking and the short term trading or investing in crypto that happens around it is almost depressing or frustrating, that we now want to focus everything on why do we believe in cryptography, what real problems do we solve with that, and that's uniting us in building all that technology and making it safe and private. That's really in our ethos, and looking at other projects, knowing that they will have massive breaches, like wallets will have massive issues, and it's being here and saying, but everyone is like building in such a high speed and short shipping time that they almost like ship stuff that we know that they know that is not good enough or not secure enough. So yeah, our motivation is really in doing the good thing, building the right things for the end users, and of course we want to make money with our technology, and it will be used for profit. But that's not, let's say, the core, the main goal. We really want to see things long term. So we are, almost ideologists in that or on that front.
Kind of. I mean, first of all, like, I really support you guys when it comes to this, because like something that I've said time and time again is that I'm not a degen. So I would rather see, I would rather get involved with projects that are actually building something good in the space, not just another meme coin or another I don't know, something that's, for me, it's vanity or it's just hype. I'm not really into buying that much into it. I don't know if it's because I'm a woman or because I'm Eastern European or just because this is how I am. Maybe it's just a combo of like a lot of stuff. I don't know. But something else I wanted to ask you was regarding metrics and what are the kind of metrics you are using to ensure the success of your marketing efforts? Because I think except for like Twitter growth and stuff like this, I think it's for such a project, like you might be looking at like different stuff than others.
Yeah. Yeah, so it depends what products or what infrastructure. But for example, the human network, yeah, the metrics are like in terms of how secure is it, how much restaked ETH is securing the network. That's a super important network metric. And then of course, how much activity does the network generate? So how much human keys we call them? That's the output of the network. How much human keys are created, and we see growth there. And then for a human passport, for example, it's very much how much active users do we have. So how much passports are created is a super interesting metric because it's the amount of users that you onboarded. But then the active users are the users that are using your product, and that is super relevant. So we focus on those metrics. And then we're going to launch the human wallet as well, and there is again like active users. And then in total, if you put everything together, is how many people in the end have we helped with our technology. So that's a little bit more complex. But through each project's integrating pieces of our technology, we help end users. So for an airdrop, for example, when you use Human Passport to only airdrop to actual users, we've helped those users in getting more airdrop because we filtered out 60% of Sybils, for example. So that's a super interesting metric. And then all the other metrics are intermediate metrics, so the metrics that need to be high to get there. And then if they are not metrics that help us get to our final mission, then it's vanity metrics. So yeah, but brand building and followers, like somewhere, brand building is also something that we want. We want to create a strong brand. So some metrics will be there, like how many times we've been mentioned in the news, which is more important for us. Like how many times our founders have been quoted because they have something interesting to say. It's more important to us than how many followers do we have on Twitter. But of course, we like to have more followers on Twitter, but the followers need to be the right ones.
Yeah. How does feedback from your audience shape your marketing and product strategies? Because I know it's something that we've discussed before, and it's something that I'm super interested in. And I'm always looking at a lot of the times at what, and I've also seen it with my hackathon as well, like what I thought would happen or like what I thought people wanted is not exactly what the feedback that I received. So I would like to see that from your perspective as well.
Yeah, there is a spectrum always of what people want. So you can't always do what everyone wants. Sometimes you have to decide. But what I think we do well is we set that vision and a mission, and then we align around that. So we know what's important. So we know what the non-negotiables will be. If it's not a private solution, then we won't do it. If something is too intrusive, then we won't do it either. So that's one thing. And then of course, like feature wise, like for example, Human Passport, I think it was in 2014 probably that they moved a lot of stamps off chain. I don't remember it 100%, but that created some backlash first from the community, and then it's explaining again why you're doing some stuff, and then you get into that transition. So communication is key. So that's what we do. We interact with end users. We listen. We don't always do what they want because that's the end decision is ours, but we interact and communicate. And then it depends again on what type of tools. But for example, a Human Passport, which be an end user facing tool as well. Therefore, we use tools like now it's still internal, but we will roll it out externally as well, like tools like Kenny, where you can feature or where you can request features, and the more voting it gets, the higher it gets on the roadmap. So that's important. And then we also look at what users from competitors are saying, and we take that into account as well. So to have again a competitive advantage versus them by integrating stuff or having stuff that we believe in first of all, and that we know that there is a market for. Like just one example, if a good one is on AI. We see a lot of stuff happening with AI agents, and like one narrative that we first tried with our stakeholders and with internal stakeholders is, what if we could have a feature on the wallet that with our 2PC technology, so that's 2PC MPC, so basically means that you have part of the key, and then the network has a part of the key, and the network can't do anything without you, and you can always recover your key because you can prove that you are you. Is to have AI agents or to delegating wallets to AI agents, and that is pretty cool because we don't fight against the AI agents, but we empower them or we empower that technology to help the end human. So that was a good thing, but we tested that with the community, and I think it's too soon to roll out those kind of things.
Personally, I was hosting a space last week about like AI agents and stuff, and I was absolutely shocked. Like, we got a speaker on the panel, and then he basically, they built an AI agent that helps them run their Twitter spaces. And I think it's called Junie, and they're like, "Oh, Junie, can you welcome the speakers of today? Hey, Junie, can you do this?" And like, because like we were emceeing or like we were hosting the space, but like the AI agent was like working with us, and I was like, "This is fucking insane! I love it." And the fact that like there's so many like good use cases, like I'm super super bullish and like super excited to see more of that. And maybe in your case as well, maybe people are just not ready yet, but like once they will see more things happening, they will catch this thing like, oh, I want to see more, I want to see more.
Yeah, 100% agree. And just need to make it like secure, so that you don't delegate a wallet to an AI agent that can just do whatever that agent wants to do with your wallet. It still needs your signature. So building that technology is bullish to me as well.
What is a marketing challenge you guys have faced, and like how did you guys overcome it?
I think it's a challenge that everyone in Web3 has. Is that short attention span towards hypes and also the market conditions. So when it's a bull market, it's because of this. So when it's a bear market, it's because of that. And then it's standing out with a narrative or with a vision that goes beyond that. So that's a challenge, I'd say. And then of course, like maybe another challenge that we face, more an internal challenges on internal education, because we built quite complex things. We always try to explain it in a very simple way, but when you ask a lot of questions, then you get to the complex things, and you want people on the team to 100% understand what we are building, so that they can speak about it confidently. And I'm a marketeer. I'm even sometimes not 100% comfortable in talking about what our technology does. But that is a challenge. So doing a lot of internal education sessions, like town halls, lunch meetings, or like lunch and learn. Everyone is in different time zones, so the lunch doesn't count much. But that's for sure. And then also like who's educating internally? That's often it's Nanak, but he's also from a very technical background. He knows that a lot of developers are in that meeting as well, so he will tend to speak more technologically about solutions, and then I have to challenge that. Or we have someone on the team, Angelica. She's awesome at challenging that. She asks questions like, why would you call it a test net and then a main net? Why can't it just be like the network? And then like it is something that we need to explain. Like, what is test net versus what is main net? What are the differences? So yeah, getting back to that all the time is very very interesting, because way too often people think that others understand. Like sometimes even when I learn something new, like for example, 2PC, MPC technology, I've never heard about it before joining Holonym. And then I ask tons of questions. I think I understand it a little bit. And then on calls with other technical people, I would like just drop like, yeah, our wallet is with 2PC, MPC technology. And then be like, you know what it is, right? 2PC, MPC technology. But they will nod their head and be like, yeah, okay. But most of them don't know. They don't know. So it's need to be to explain that and
I feel like that is a challenge like all around everywhere in Web3, not just in your team or like you talking to other people. I feel like it's a lot of the times I feel like it is an issue in Web3. Like for example, like my goal with this podcast was to try to explain things in in an easier way to be able to cater to everybody. But at the same time, I think like it doesn't matter how much technology you understand when it comes to Web3 or like slang, whatever, or like how much of a DJ you are. If you things are being explained in an easy way, everybody will remember stuff. And I think this is the most important thing for,
Yeah.
I mean, this drives me a lot, at least.
Yeah.
So,
that's cool. Yeah.
something
Always try to like shorten explanations. So we have a long blurb, a short blurb, and then every time shorter.
Something I wanted to ask you is like, do you think people in Web2 have a higher attention span compared to Web3?
Oh, it's a good question. I don't think we can generalize it. Also, because people in Web3, you have some that are here because they're geeks and nerds and interested by the tech side of things, and you have others that join because they want to make quick bucks on meme coins. So I don't know. Maybe it's something our generation already has, like a very short attention span. So yeah, I don't know. But what I feel like, I have a lot of friends who are not in Web3. Like I believe you as well, and it's like almost that they've given up understanding Web3. It's like whenever I say to someone that I meet and he or she asks, like, what are you working on? I would say like financial technology and blockchain, just to not overcomplify things. And whenever I say cryptography or crypto or blockchain, they're like, oh yeah, but I know nothing about it. That's way too complicated for me. I'm like, yeah, but if I would say I have a web shop or an internet, then you're not going to say, oh, that's way too complicated. No, because you order every week on the e-commerce. So yeah.
I was asking this because I feel like if somebody's going to use Bolt or I don't know, an app like in Web2, they're going to continue using that. They're not going to drop it because there's something else coming up, right? Whereas in Web3, it's always like the new thing. It's like,
but that's a lot of like airdrop farming as well, in my opinion. Whenever there's a new thing, you almost hope like, okay, I want to be an early user so I can secure or a name or a domain or enough points or be early to get an airdrop if an airdrop comes. It's not often that a disruptor comes in with way better UX and UI and technology that you would switch. And then you have apps with loyal users still. Exchanges is a really good example. Also because you're stuck with your money on exchanges. So
true.
Keep using it.
What have you guys learned about marketing privacy and security focused products to a Web3 audience?
Say it again. What we've learned about the audience,
about marketing privacy and security focused products to a Web3 audience.
Yeah, interesting. So they definitely understand that it's important. So you basically have 2 or 3 camps. I would say you have a camp, and they definitely exist, who are privacy maximalists. So you have those people that even if we launch like a privacy preserving piece of technology, they will dig deep to be 100% sure that it's done in the best way, that the privacy is perfectly secure. So that's really interesting to get feedback on the product and to make sure that we use the best technology to make it 100% private. And then you have the group of people that are interested because they know that privacy is important, and they have had their email and password hacked. They know that issue. And then it's more a challenge to onboarding them and explaining them what is CK, for example. And that's cool as well. And then we have the third group, which we don't even touch, are the ones who don't know the issue yet, or aren't interested because it's not UX wise, it's not the best UX. And they will always go for like easy icon abstraction using a wallet per app. So that those are the ones that we're not going to focus on. In end users, I mean, of course.
Let me rephrase this. As you're moving forward towards launching a wallet, like what are your marketing plans and what trends you're hoping to jump on?
Yeah. So we're gonna test different narratives, I think, with the wallet. One of them will be about security. So it's explaining like this wallet is going to be state of the art, most secure wallet that exists. It's also free wallet, so projects can even integrate that wallet. It's composable, so compared to wallets as a service, where what I said, like you need almost one wallet per app just to make sure that it's secure. With our universal composable wallet, you have the best security, but you can still use the same wallet for the different apps. But then we will see like, okay, what narrative or again, what value proposition is going to stick with who. So we have the builders that we want to onboard. So that's B2B. So that will go first. The developers integrating our wallet solution. And then we have the end users, which is going to be the same narrative, not how are we going to onboard them. That's going to be super interesting. And then what features are important in a wallet, what features are not, and then how far can we go with having the best UX for end users without compromising on security. So yeah, making sure that users, for example, like something I requested was like importing a MetaMask wallet into our wallet, into Silk wallet or the human wallet. And that's something like Nanak, for example, said, yeah, you could do this, but the security won't be guaranteed because you're not creating the private key of that wallet through the human network. So yeah, UX wise, there will be some limits, but we say like we offer the best security with the same good UX. So let's see if we can deliver on that.
I think that was quite interesting to mention that like maybe some of your ideas or like something that you would think would be an easy onboarding to new users. Actually, they are actually a data breach, and like you wouldn't be able to secure what you're saying through doing that. So I think that's quite an interesting take. What is your unpopular? What is your unpopular opinion, or do you have any unpopular opinion about Web3, about marketing in Web3?
Yeah, I think I mentioned it already. One is everyone will get hacked in 2025 somehow. Some platforms, a wallet. I hope it will not be too bad for us. But that's definitely an opinion. And then another is like, I know we're gonna launch a human wallet, and I know that it's like security wise, it's gonna be the best in security. But I still, I'm a big sucker for a Phantom wallet. I love that wallet. It's super cool, like design, UX. Their marketing is always super fresh. It's nice. So my favorite wallet is the Phantom wallet. So that's unpopular with having our own wallet. It's like almost like, yeah, why would you go for a wallet? I'm trying to find a comparison. Like, why would you set up a new password manager if you know you could have like 1234 as a password anywhere? You know that it's better to have a password manager, but it's so fun if you like typing 1234 to access the wallet directly everywhere.
Oh my God. Wait, I wanted to ask you something, but I forgot. I always forget things. Maybe before I know you guys have like an important announcement to make. So I don't know if I want to make it here, but like, or at least like you want to direct people to where they should stay in touch with you when this happens. So maybe can you tell us a bit more about it?
Yeah, so at the time this podcast comes out, we will have launched human.tech and everything, and announced the acquisition of Gitcoin Passport, becoming a human passport. So that is like, now we're recording and it's in a week from now. And then we're going to roll out that big manifestation campaign that I talked about it as well. At first, we're now doing it with academics and partners and aligning everyone, but we're going to roll it out to everyone. So even like if artists or writers, or if you feel you feel like and you got a vision or if you feel empowered by what we are saying, then we're going to open up to any contribution. So it's almost like a gallery or a book of how to blend human and technology in the best way. And then we will select some really good contributions to display and to show the world, like, okay, this is what the best of humanity and technology is going to produce. So yeah, and then stay in touch with I think the main social channel Still going to be Twitter, although we want to focus more on Blue Sky now, and see if we could get more traction on Blue Sky, because we believe more smart, or the smartest people are on both still, but the combined quality will be better on Blue Sky, let's say.
I mean, I heard a lot of people talk about it like recently, so I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. Maybe like in 2 months from now, let's say.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do an MAA here. What is one tool or like one resource that you really like in Web3 and you would like to share it today?
I like Cookie Tree. They're super popular now with their AI agent aggregator, but their core is analytics, like on-chain and off-chain analytics. And they're awesome builders. They ship super fast. And then they have a KOL tool as well. And their KOL tool is a dashboard where you can see who's saying what about you and how much noise does it make, what is effective and what not. So that's a great tool as well for us to do sentiment analysis and to see what our partners and researchers and academics and artists and scientists are saying about us and about CKA technology, for example. So that's definitely a good tool that I like. And then others, Notion and Slack is the go-to tools. And then maybe also like for trading, I like Matcha. Matcha is from 0x and is an awesome tool that I often also use as an example for UI, UX, and marketing and the way they communicate to different audiences. Phantom also. I use it a lot as an example for marketing and materials and branding.
I will ask them for an advertising budget because you mentioned them so many times on this episode.
Let me know what they say. Yeah.
So last but not least for today, Yean, where can people find you?
So we say Twitter is 0x Holonym. The website is human.tech. So that's the easy one, human.tech. And then on Blue Sky is human.tech bluesky.social. But go to the website, human.tech. That's the easiest. And then you can find all the links there.
I will definitely add them in the description of the episode. Meanwhile, I want to thank you for being with me today. It's been a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it as well. And I can't wait to hear more about like what you're building. And for those of you that don't know, Yean and Holonym team were part of the last hackathon. So I want to thank you guys for that as well. And I'll see you next time.
Cool. Well, thank you for everything that you're doing in the Web3 space as well. And this was a lot of fun. So thanks. Talk soon.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to our Out of Ordinary podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and you would like to hear more content like this, then open up the podcast app and click on the follow or subscribe button. It takes less than 5 seconds and is the single best thing you can do to support the show and stay up to date to more marketing strategies that are being used in the Web3 space.